That's enough.
I know. I want to find out what
Kim, do you have anything to add?
That this might not be the...
First they used the courts, now they're trying to use the cable commission.
That's right. Well, and you know, the first recourse is to just come on the show. Call into the show.
Yes.
If you don't think something we say is accurate, is misleading, is disinformation, you can call on the show or you can come on the show.
Caller, are you with us?
Yeah, you guys don't get paid enough.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
I'll tell you, the circus doesn't end at Maplewood, does it?
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane!
Yes, it's
Bob Zick.
Strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. And who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way.
All right.
Wow.
Well, we have to make a set change here in 3 minutes. We used to figure 10. Well, we do have to make a set change here in 3 minutes. Absolutely. That's what's going on here. So, good evening. Welcome to Inside Insight. I'm your host, Bob Zick. As always, we're broadcasting from suburban community channels in White Bear Lake, County Road Bel Air and County Road F, and it is September 15th. So if you're watching the show anytime other than September, wait, they said put on your mic. 3 minutes. We needed an extra 30 seconds. It is Wednesday, the 15th of September. If you're watching the show anytime other than that, you're watching a retelevised edition, so please don't call in. But if you're watching live, call in with your questions or comments. Can we turn these lights down? I feel like it. No. Pull them down.
I can't. I got other things to do.
Oh, got other things to do. I feel like a chicken on a rotisserie out here. I mean, I don't know why they crank these lights up so high. It's like you don't need that. You don't need that. We got have a cartoon for you tonight too, by the way. Let's get the cartoon up there. Everything that's presented on the show is well documented, thought out, researched, and is presented as the opinion and the view of me, your host, Bob Zick. And I add a little brevity and satire in there because government is killing us, and unless you laugh about it, we have so much for you tonight. It was pouring outside. I just talked to somebody, they called me from up at Blaine, and they said it was pouring down so hard up there, they had us slow way down. All right, what do we have tonight? We have all kinds of stuff. We have some clips from Monday night's council meeting over at Maple. You're not going to believe the stuff we have. We were down at the federal courthouse in Minneapolis yesterday, and we were down at the federal courthouse in St. Paul today. This is on that Petter's pyramid scheme, Ponzi scheme rather. And so what we were covering is what we call the second fraud. You know, I have to find out if they have some of the t-shirts from this. And what we have some clips on this too, folks. What's going on is how many ever billions were fraudulently taken. Now what's going on in the second fraud is, and all this is from information that I received, and I'm going off of that, so I'm presenting it presenting it as my opinion, but I was in court listening to this stuff. Oh, here we come. The receiver, what's the other word? The receiver, and what's the one that, trustee? Who's the one that puts the value on things? What do they call? There's a name for that. Anyway, the receiver in this case that's supposed to divvy this stuff up is Doug Kelly. Doug Kelly, attorney, was is politically correct or connected. He also was the attorney for Petters. The judge, Ann Montgomery, from what, again, connections that were given to me, friend of Kelly's, gives him total immunity from prosecution, then appoints him as the receiver. And not only is he the receiver, but he's also the person, and there's a name for it, that puts the value on the different assets. So now he can value the assets and then steer them to some more of his inside people. And, well, an example, Polaroid was sold for not the highest bidder, but the second highest bidder. We don't know what went on there, for 80-some million. It had a value of $2 billion. They hid the fact that Polaroid had just had a contract for $1 billion until after this whole proceedings went through for things that patent kind of issues that another entity bought from them. So a $2 billion company gets liquidated for $800 million or $80 million. Isn't this wonderful? I mean, we're going to have some people on here. We got some tapes from that. We shot some tapes down at the courthouse. We already have a phone call. I have to say, as we played that lead-in again, because after we played it last week, we got so many calls. Hey, we want to see that again. Anyway, here's the shirt the protesters were wearing. Let's see where it is. ACT. What camera are we going to be on here? Swing it over here. Act for Justice. Victims of injustice by Petters' second fraud. Okay, now let's turn it around. American Citizens Together for Justice. Petters scheme, $3 billion. Doug Kelly and friends. Doug Kelly is the receiver that the courts appointed, and friends, $30 billion. $30 million. Deanna Coleman, just 1 year and 1 day. She's the one that got 1 year and 1 day for wising them up to this thing. Victims, creditors, zero. Restitution. The money is not going back to the victims. You know, it was just, remember the tobacco settlement? Reese, Tim, what's Cerisi. Cerisi, this law firm got millions, and the state got millions, and of course the state was duplicitous in the fact that for years and to date takes millions and millions of dollars of tax revenues. The people that were injured got nothing. So that's what's going on here now. All the investment funds, and these funds are made up of investors like employees of different groups of, like, it'd be like a teachers union, and so their money has been taken away, and instead of receiving anything back, the courts, with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Now get this. Doug Kelly gets $30 million, won't show people the bills or expenditures, but cuts a deal with the Department of Justice where he slides over $15 billion for them, the people that are supposed to be looking out for you. And when I look at this, the Department of Justice now has this $15 billion or $1 million slush fund that they can direct as they want. It's totally compromised. Nobody's looking out for the citizens. So we're going to play some of that stuff. Now, we also have, we want to play some things from Monday night. But when I came in here, I was handed this Maplewood Review. And, you know, just so we don't, can we put that Lolly Suburban News up on the character generator? What we have, and people that have a computer at home, you need to check this site out, Lolly Suburban Newspapers, as opposed to the Maplewood Review or the Lily newspaper. We have the Lolly, L-O-L-L-I-E Suburban Newspaper. You need to go back and read what's there. But candidates, this is Wednesday, September 8th. So candidates' remark caused stir among veterans. So the person that the Republican Party fronted to run against me, you know, I had an opponent in the primary, but that opponent was the state GOP. So they put up this front person, ran the campaign, did the phone calls for him, phone banks, did the fundraising for him, did the mailings for him. And so people remember that when you look at what you have for a choice, you know, ask yourself, why does the state GOP stick their nose into the little local elections here? You know, Tony Sutton, if you read this article that was in there, you can see that it just reeks of party politics here. And so now this person that they've fronted to run against me, now it's, and I knew this before, but you know, isn't it something that the Lily holds this stuff until afterwards, that they didn't put this in before the primary? But this Nathan Hansen went after the military and said some disparaging things. And so now this comes out, and he sued a couple veterans that took offense to what he said and called them out for it. So now you can read this out. I didn't really have a chance to do more than glance at it, but I'm going to say right now, this Hansen is going to be lucky if he makes it into the low 30% in the election. And so, and this is of course against the newspaper family, the newspaper family, the Lilly newspaper. Isn't it funny that Ted Lilly is over there in, was it Lake Elmo, running for Senate, and Leon is over here. Supposedly one's a conservative and one's self-claiming the biggest liberal there is. You have to sort it out for yourself. I think what it really is people that want to find a job. You know, folks, let me ask you this. With what goes on, what you don't know goes on down there at the Capitol, how much do you think you would get to know if I was down there as your representative? Not only 55A House District, but you know, this show goes to about 50 cities. Everybody would know what's going on down there. And You know, the Republican